when Ubisoft were good. I can't promise there won't be loads of pans like this. It is kind of doing the rounds at the moment. Gone on to Game Pass. Never saw this game on PC. Put 190 hours into it on a base level PlayStation 4. Loved all of it. All co-op. It was just a great piece of online Ubisoft content. I was having a look at some other creators on this one. Found Force Gaming, 1.06 subscribers, 1.06 million subscribers rather. Bro's only just going to crack 60k on this. That's Lords of the Fallen patch numbers. I'm really shocked at how low some of the numbers are on the bigger name YouTubers of late. I look at everyone. Something's going down. It's not very inspirational for the smaller people like myself, I'll give you that. Well done for not slagging anyone off in the first minute of your video though. Are Force Gaming doing a When Ubisoft Was Good series as well? They are not. Those 1.6 million are missing out. I think we're all in agreement of that one. I've also got this game running on Ultra. Can you believe it? It was borrowed time because as soon as stuff's kicked off, it just dropped frames quicker than Cyberpunk on a Switch 2. As with the whole of this PS4 to PC video series that I've spent 6 painful months putting together, this again, and I have said it on a lot of the previous videos, this is like a remaster for me. This jump in graphical fidelity, the crispness, bro, unbelievable. Frames, we'll get to them in a minute.
We're under attack. It might be a diversion, so be ready.
The reflections on the floor, the dissipation in the apparatus on the tables, the smoke, the miasma from those funny satchels. Here we go again. Do you even play your PlayStation 5 anymore? Is this just going to be a slagging match over the console version? The game's 6 years old, for God's sakes. Deal with it.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
Can we just take a few steps back and talk about what the Division series actually is? The third-person action ARPG, the A stands for action, but it was a cover shooter, and it was pushing an open-world sort of derelict dystopian city. It was pretty awesome, martial law, everything's gone tits up, not too dissimilar to where we're up to now. It had a huge emphasis on grind, though. A huge thing about loot, multicoloured, legendary tiered knee protectors, but that also bled into the weaponry. You play this game long enough, things got very, very cool. But there was this grind section to it. It was all about getting people online, getting people together, and dealing with this amazing PvE content. That's an important acronym. It did come with PvP, but as with third-person cover-based shooters, I'm not a big fan of that format. I know Gears exists to it. I much prefer the first-person shooter when it comes to PvP. Thanks for that, Coop. But my point being with that completely irrelevant tangent is that this game's model was trying to breed online every day. Every day, bro, log in, something new, some new event, and it succeeded in that surprisingly well. It may have been the precursor to a lot of the AAA models you see at the moment. I feel Destiny 2 may have picked up where this left off. Can you just shut up a minute because there's graphics and that?
Thank you. Hey!
I am starting to see the frames drop now. This is the point where I have to make the absolutely sacrificial step towards high as opposed to ultra. You all know the chasmous gap that exists between those two settings. The point I was getting to with that everyday service was that you may not have ever tried this game completely solo, and it was something I very much enjoyed way back when it came out in 2019, and something I realised I still massively enjoyed with having to go at this on ultra sometimes in 2025. It's an impeccably well-made game, despite its loot gathering psychology. The actual mechanics and cover and jumping over stuff's got Splinter Cell written all over it. And if you've got 2 years of returnal muscle memory in your brain, the enemies don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance.
Come at me.
It just didn't run like this back in 2009 on a base level PlayStation 4 either, and that is a fair enough comment, but having those frame rates stay with you when you're jumping over cover or even transferring to another area is super important with a third person shooter like this. It very much improves the experience, and it also has a lot to work with. You've got this damn drone going on, there'll be explosives happening all around you, and it doesn't hold back on pushing 5, 10, 15 enemies at you at a singular time, depending on how big of that arena is that you've stumbled into. Now that brings me on to something that is applicable right to this day, and I'm going to refer to the Witcher 4 demo that we've just seen at the State of Play. You will remember back in 2018 seeing the trailer of this roll forward, and it was the same syndrome as the Watchdog 1 thing, where they blatantly used a NASA rig, showed us a tech demo, and then when the game came out there was big disappointment. It wasn't too bad with the Division 2, but everybody used that door closing clip. We all know about it, but I feel that this is nearly as close to that tech demo we saw back then from Ubisoft prior to this game coming out. I want your comments on that Witcher 4 stuff, because A, it's dropping frames sometimes, which I noticed in that reel, and B, is that what we're going to get on base PlayStation 5s, brackets the Switch 2? That support request just doesn't go if you don't use it, because I'm still in tutorial town with this whole thing, and I cannot remember if that's the AI good guys, you know, who are on the map, or whether that pinged some poor random who was having a nice game on his own that there's urgent help needed round the corner. I can't think of anything worse. Just had that with the Nier 3 demo review. I pulled in what I thought was a human player, but it isn't. It's like a drive avatar that you'd see on something like Forza with a username that looks like an online name. That account hasn't even got online access on it, full stop. I'm surprised I can even download things on it. But someone in the comments pointed out that that was an AI companion. We're cooked, bros, going forward. We're never going to be able to spot it. They're probably going to be better than us as well. Street Fighter 18 is going to be fun on the Switch 2. Right, can we stop this Switch 2 stuff, all right? Just because you can't afford one doesn't mean you should be slagging off everyone else who's got one, all right? Okay, do you reckon the Division 2 will be on the Switch 2? I don't know. And if it is, it probably will be running better than it has been on your GTX 1660. I wanted to just revisit that game model again. By the way, I cannot remember a single distinguishing feature from the Division 1. And when I asked people about what they thought of the Division 2, when I asked people what they actually thought of the Division 2 in hindsight, they were always like, yeah, it was great, but there was a lot of bullet sponginess going on with the bosses, and that is a fair enough comment, but they're surprisingly varied, and the game is quite self-aware with that, giving them as much variety and personality as possible, but it is difficult. It's a third-person shooter, for God's sakes. It's not Shakespeare. That hasn't stopped the writers from dribbling on beyond all belief with some of the between-mission text. Thankfully, loads of it is skippable, but I'm impressed with the dialogue and the interaction with some of the top-end enemies and set pieces. The finale of this game on that campaign is pretty amazing. I'm sure you can all remember that helicopter. Spoiler alert, bit late, mate.
Vital signs critical.
And that also brings me on to why it's been spoken about at the moment. We had that Brooklyn Bridge DLC here, and that is actually paid for. I was a bit annoyed. I thought they might offer us that for free. That would be such a good incentive. So a 9th gen patch and a bit of free DLC would get everybody turning this game on again. You might even get some microtransactions out of it. Ubisoft, you need to sort your game out. Tencent, have a word. I imagine they probably will at some point this year. I did want to mention how the game appears to have sort of random interactions in it. Not in the bases, but outside of them, and how well that music ramps up. Things just turn really crazy really quickly, and it feels very high production. And without dwelling on it too much, I do want to stick on the subject of tech demos and trailers, because as we can all remember back with the Watch Dogs and this game, the companies have been misleading us massively for over a decade now with these really good looking versions of the game that we just don't get to play. I'm sorry to say it, No Man's Sky, but you guys were one of the biggest offenders. This is going to sound like a crazy, outlandish idea, and I'm desperate for your feedback on it. One day in the future, I really hope there would be some sort of rule or legislation in place to make sure that companies aren't using an engine or a piece of equipment that's not available to the common buyer to show off their video game to the customer prior to its release. Are you with me? It's dishonest. You don't see it in any other industry. Imagine if a film tried to pull that off. Your trailer had Sydney Sweeney getting them out in it, and where are they? The film would be immediately pulled, and we'd all just have to go and watch Immaculate. You don't see it in literature. You can't even imagine it happening in music. It's unfair to an industry that is now worth over $10 billion a year. That's an old number. I just googled it. 134 billion since the year 2018. Oh My Christ. Most of that has appeared in Asmongold's Kickstream donations. Was he playing a Switch 2? No, he was not playing a Switch 2. Talking of 2018, it is quite funny that my When Ubisoft Was Good shtick goes from 1986, the inception of the company, to 2018. That was like the last time we saw a decent Ubisoft game. This is 2019, so this is just slightly out of the comfort zone, but it was surprisingly enjoyable. As a conclusion, if they rolled this out with the 9th gen patch on PlayStation 5 and threw in a nice piece of PvE downloadable content, one of the paid packages, I would straight up drum up the old crew and try and get us to have another go at it.
10 years ago, a crack commando unit was sent to prison.
If you have never played the game and have seen it go past on Game Pass and you've got a PC or an Xbox, there is loads of cool single player content in here. You don't need a full squad. The scaling is kind of perfect. All the cool gadgets act as additions to your setup. It's very empowering and extremely chaotic and very effects heavy. It still looks great right to this day. This and Wildlands are really two great When Ubisoft Were Good games. I'll link to the Wildlands review in the description.
I've got no angle.
My name was of course Couch Coop, and a big thanks owed for the engagement on that Nier 3 demo review. That is a hell of a piece of free software. I strongly suggest you go and download it. If you have a PlayStation 5, it is free and a timed access. It's been out for about 24 hours, so don't hold me to that. Very much looking forward to your new subscription. I will of course see you down there.